I had coffee with McCully half an hour ago!
Don't let yourself get attached to anything you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you feel the heat around the corner.
She got a great ass!
A real detective and a real criminal once sat down for coffee in Chicago. One would eventually kill the other in a bloody shootout, but not before they shared an eerily intimate conversation that would inspire one of the greatest crime films ever made. 1. The real cop and robber grabbed coffee together. In 1963, Chicago detective Chuck Adamson spotted career criminal Neil McCauley on the street. Instead of arresting him, they did something extraordinary. They went for coffee. This wasn't just any criminal. By his 20s, McCauley had already done 3 prison stints, including time in Alcatraz. He'd spent nearly half his 49 years behind bars for crimes ranging from theft to murder. Welcome to Prime Time Throwback, where today we're exposing the shocking true story behind Michael Mann's 1995 crime epic Heat, the film that forever changed how Hollywood portrayed criminals and the men who hunt them. That legendary coffee shop confrontation between Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, their first ever scene together despite decades dominating cinema, wasn't just brilliant screenwriting. It actually happened. Adamson later recalled telling McCauley to take his crimes elsewhere, while McCauley calmly implied he wouldn't hesitate to kill the detective if necessary. The real-life tension between these men became the foundation for Mann's masterpiece. 2. The movie was built on a failed TV pilot. Mann wrote the script in the late 70s but couldn't get it made. Years later, desperate to tell this story, he repurposed it as a TV movie called L.A. Takedown. The result was so forgettable even hardcore Mann fans rarely mention it. The 1989 television production featured Michael Rooker and lacked everything that made Heat legendary. The runtime needed to explore its themes, the budget for those explosive action sequences, and most importantly, the convergence of 2 acting titans. When Mann finally got his chance to make the full feature, he expanded every aspect, turning a footnote into a landmark. This determination to get his vision on screen is why we're still talking about Heat decades later, while L.A. Takedown gathers dust in TV archives. If you're finding these real-life connections fascinating, take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to Prime Time Throwback. We uncover the hidden histories behind classic crime films every week. And wait until you see what we've discovered about Goodfellas coming next month. 3. De Niro's starched collars weren't just vanity. When De Niro insisted his character Neil McCauley wear perfectly starched collars and impeccably tailored gray suits, it wasn't actor vanity, it was criminal psychology. Real professional thieves don't dress flashy. They don't want to be remembered. The character's wardrobe was tactical, helping him blend into corporate environments while enabling his 30-second rule to abandon everything at a moment's notice. De Niro studied surveillance footage of real bank robbers to note how they moved and dressed. He even wore the specific Rolex model favored by high-end criminals, expensive enough to look successful but common enough to be forgettable. "I don't want to just be in a movie," De Niro reportedly told Mann. "I want to be doing what's real." 4. A real stakeout was blown because a cop used the bathroom. Remember that nail-biting scene where McCauley abandons the precious metals heist after sensing police surveillance? That wasn't Hollywood invention. The real McCauley and his crew once targeted a Chicago department store when Adamson set up a stakeout. As McCauley's gang entered the building, they paused in the basement, listening for anything suspicious. When an officer went to use the bathroom, his footsteps echoed down to where the criminals were hiding. Just like in the film, the real McCauley and his crew calmly walked out, abandoning the score. This moment transformed how Adamson viewed his adversary. Despite operating on opposite sides of the law, the detective couldn't help but admire McCauley's professionalism and sixth sense for danger, the exact dynamic that makes the film so compelling. 5. A real snitch inspired Wayne Gro. And he died, nailed to a wall. Kevin Gage's character, Waingro, the loose cannon who betrays McCauley's crew, was based on an actual Chicago criminal informant. The film gave this rat a more dramatic death than most viewers realize. While Waingro dies at McCauley's hand in a hotel room, the real informant's fate was more gruesome. After disappearing, he was found in Mexico dead, and nailed to the wall of a shed, literally crucified for his betrayal. This grim reality informed how Mann portrayed the criminal underworld's strict code of loyalty. In both the film and real life, the consequences of betrayal are brutal and inevitable, a theme that resonates through every frame of Heat. Sixth, Mann embedded his actors in the criminal world. Mann's preparation went beyond normal research. He spent 6 months writing with LAPD officers, embedded his cast with real detectives and ex-cons, and filmed across 95 locations to capture authentic Los Angeles. But one connection stands out: Edward Bunker. Cinema fans might recognize Bunker as Mr. Blue from Reservoir Dogs, but his real contribution to crime films was his authenticity. Jon Voight's character Nate was directly inspired by Bunker, a career criminal and bank robber who became a writer during his final prison stint. His novel, No Beast So Fierce, became required reading on the Heat set. This direct line between Heat and Reservoir Dogs shows how Mann's dedication to authenticity influenced a generation of filmmakers, creating a cinematic lineage of crime films grounded in reality rather than Hollywood cliches. 7. One line that defines Hannah's character was improvised. During the interrogation of Charlene's lover, Pacino screams, "She's got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it." This wasn't scripted. It was pure Pacino improvisation. The shocked reaction from the other actor is genuine confusion at this unexpected outburst. This unplanned moment completely transformed Hannah's character, revealing the detective's unhinged mania that contrasts with Macaulay's calculated calm. Before this, Hannah had been just another detective. Afterward, he became the perfect opposing force to De Niro's controlled criminal. Both men equally obsessive but expressing it in opposite ways. Pacino's character was further shaped by his decision to base Hannah's appearance on basketball coach Pat Riley, with slicked back hair and designer suits, creating a visual language that told viewers this cop was as meticulous as his prey, just more volatile. 8. The Shootout was so real, it's used to train Marines. The bank robbery sequence delivers cinema's most realistic gunfight. Mann recorded actual weapons firing blanks on set. That thunderous audio isn't post-production sound effects. The tactical movements weren't Hollywood fakery either. The actors trained for months with military experts to perfect bounding overwatch, a combat tactic where teammates provide cover fire while others advance. This scene was so technically perfect that it's now shown to Marines as a tactical demonstration. A Hollywood movie, used to train elite military personnel. The actors fired thousands of rounds during filming, with De Niro's windshield shots coming from a weapons trainer who had used that exact tactic in actual combat. This commitment to realism came at a price. The downtown Los Angeles sequence took weeks to film across multiple weekends due to location restrictions. But the result changed action cinema forever. No stylized, bloodless gunfights, just raw, deafening chaos that showed the brutal reality of modern combat. 9. A painting influenced the most haunting visual in the movie. The haunting image of De Niro staring out at the ocean, a moment of rare peace before his violent end, wasn't just a pretty shot. It was directly modeled after Alex Colville's painting Pacific, showing Mann's artistic approach to visual storytelling. This careful composition did more than look good. It subtly foreshadowed Macaulay's fate. Like the solitary figure in the painting, he would remain isolated despite his brief connection with 80. The shot's stark contrast and emptiness signaled that Macaulay's story could only end in tragedy. Mann's painterly eye extended throughout the film, using cold blues for Macaulay's world and warmer tones for Hannah's. Visual storytelling that quietly reinforced the duality between these men without a word of dialogue. 10. Heat's most famous scene had zero rehearsals. The coffee shop scene, that legendary first on-screen meeting between De Niro and Pacino, was shot on take 11 with no rehearsal beforehand. Mann wanted their chemistry to feel fresh and tense, allowing these titans to discover each other in real time, just as their characters were. What many don't realize is how this scene revolutionized the cat-and-mouse crime genre. Before Heat, antagonists typically only met during climactic confrontations. By placing his adversaries across a table for coffee mid-film, Mann created a new template for how heroes and villains could interact, influencing everything from The Dark Knight to Skyfall. Before we reveal how the real Macaulay met his end, let's talk about Heat's legacy. Christopher Nolan has openly admitted that the bank heist sequence in The Dark Knight was his homage to Mann's work. Ben Affleck's The Town borrowed heavily from Heat's criminal precision and emotional weight, but the film's influence extends beyond cinema. Macaulay wasn't killed in an epic airport confrontation. He was gunned down on a stranger's front lawn, bleeding out while neighborhood children watched from windows. The truth wasn't just darker, it was sadder. No tender moment between adversaries, just a brutal end to a violent life. This has been Prime Time Throwback. If you enjoyed this dive into the true story behind Heat, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And before you go, let me know in the comments which scene from Heat hit you hardest. Was it the coffee shop confrontation or that explosive downtown shootout? Next week, we're revealing how one of the Heat actors nearly landed a role in The Godfather, but a single off-camera decision cost them the opportunity of a lifetime. Until then, remember, sometimes truth is more compelling than fiction.